So we've been talking more and more each week lately about goofy places that we have found in the USA.
What kind of lights a fire under us? It's something we really enjoy. And so this week, we're all going to jail together.
Oh, my.
Yep. In Crawfordsville, Indiana, we visited a jail that was a prototype of an idea that a number of communities adopted. A rotary
jail.
Yeah. And it wasn't just any way to incarcerate folks. It was a way that a community could also save a bunch of money doing so.
Sure. The idea was that jailers could rotate the entire jail and provide access to only one cell at a time. That made it easier for fewer people to manage the prison population, right? They only needed really one guard because there was only one door.
Yeah. And it was actually rather effective and innovative. One individual could actually move the 8 cells on 2 floors with a single crank, rotating the entire 45-ton structure. And it was surprisingly easy to do so.
That is just...
It was really impressive.
Yeah.
And
So great. There were other innovations too. For example, there was a central plumbing system in the jail, so prisoners didn't have to be let in and out of their cells to go to the bathroom. They just used the bathroom right in the cell, which was really revolutionary at the time.
By the way, the 16 toilets in the jail drained into a central pipe into the basement of the property and out of the building. However, the whole system was only flushed twice a day.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, apparently
it was
different. It smelled pretty bad in there.
Times were different back then. So the whole jail was a round structure. It was designed in 1882 by William H. Brown and built by the Howe Ketchum and Company Iron Foundry in Indianapolis.
The cells were pie wedge shaped, and the idea was popular enough that they sold this to a number of communities.
In fact, the original rotary jail, which we visited, is still standing, and it even still rotates.
Yeah, it does. So while the idea was successful in many ways, challenges showed up almost immediately.
With many of the town's guests coming into the jail after a night of drinking, sometimes they were still intoxicated when it came time to rotate someone in or out. And if that person had their hand or their leg or their foot resting on the bars when the jail was rotated, they could become amputated.
Absolutely, yeah. It takes a lot to stop 45 tons of jail. At one of the rotary jails, not the one in Indiana, but another one, a prisoner actually passed away, but the mechanism jammed, and it took 2 days before they could be gotten out of their cell.
My goodness. Okay, but there is a really funny story. One of Crawfordville's residents, who was a regular guest at the institution, happened to have a wooden leg.
Not because of the jail.
Not because of the jail. He just happened to have one and happened to get put in jail a lot. Well, the combination of snow and challenging roads and other, environmental factors meant that the leg wore out and had to be replaced regularly. And wooden legs at the time were not cheap.
So one night he's in jail and he figured out that he could get sent to jail for a minor crime like stealing a pack of gum or whatever it was. And in jail, he'd get 3 meals and a shave so he could go see the judge.
But even better, he realized if he stuck his wooden leg out the bars where people were having their arms amputated, it would break the leg, and they would have to the city would have to replace it because they broke his wooden leg.
It actually took 3 years for the jailers to catch on what was happening here. And finally, when he would come to jail, they would confiscate the leg when they put him behind bars.
Well, after being declared unfit, many of the rotary jails were modified to more traditional types, and they had their mechanisms disabled.
The one in Crawfordsville did too, but it was still used with modifications until 1973.
So there are still 3 of these jails standing, and the community of Crawfordsville saw the significance of the history of the jail and worked to restore it. So today, you can actually take a tour of the jail, and it spins by a docent. You don't get to do it yourself. You don't get to be inside. And they're very, very careful that you don't put your hands, legs, or wooden legs in between the bars when it rotates.
Yeah, Rotary Jail is an interesting bit of innovation in history. Something worth visiting on your stressless camping adventure. And it is definitely Goofy USA. We have discounts, deals, helpful tips, and more at our home on the web at stresslesscamping.com.
Don't forget to like and share, and thank you for joining us.
Stressless Camping!